Live from EUIC's Secret Rare, a Pokemon podcast with me, Jordan Midler, Nathan Ellingsworth, and Tom Ryan-Smith.
Hiya.
We're here in person to talk about EUIC and Pokemon Day. But first, how's it going, boys? We're here, the first in-person podcast.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it feels so weird to have us all in a room.
Yeah, like I always thought if we did an in-person podcast, we'd be sat in a circle around a table.
Yeah.
Not just sort of weirdly.
Not on the Blue Peter sofa. Like, hello.
Welcome to the one show for Pokemon.
Thank you to he who must not be named for this lovely setup. But we haven't brought this with us. We are actually officially at Pokemon EUIC, the warmest room in the planet in an already warm hall.
Yeah, I think wearing the matching jumpers may turn out to be a mistake, but for
like
the moment,
if we end up naked by the end of this podcast, I won't be surprised.
Yeah, just with the jumpers on though.
Yeah, just the jumpers.
just below the waist.
Yeah.
Oh, don't.
Patreon.com/ it doesn't exist. Do not look it up. Don't worry about it. So yeah, we're here all weekend for our various side jobs, our various Secret Rare is the real passion, but we're here for the various side jobs. And obviously, for someone that's not been to EUIC, Tom, it's not just the Pokemon Center. Kind of talk us through what it's been like so far and what the actual kind of event is like.
Well, if you want to go to the hottest room in the entire world, I fully recommend coming to this event. It's in the Excel Center, and it's February.
Yeah.
And it's not the warmest day, but in here it is the hottest I have ever been. And especially in that main corridor area, I know I'm not talking about the event, I just wanted to moan about how hot it is. I'm a ginger boy, I struggle in the heat. But yeah, like, if you want to be hot, come to this. But it is fantastic. It's just full of nerds, playing Pokemon, having the best time, and we're part of that.
Yep.
You can play some side games. If you're just attending, you can do side events and earn points and win prizes. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm just the hottest I've ever been. I'm very sweaty and tired.
Yeah. Nathan,
Hi.
you've been chatting to some of the competitors. How are they feeling? How's the weekend been going for them?
It's been good, yeah. I had a chat with world champ Luca, who was, I think, a little bit sullen after his defeat at the hands of Wolfie Glick. I also got a chat with Tim Edwards. I don't know, it's nice that everyone seems to be really enjoying the EUIC atmosphere. I think this is a good lead up to Worlds in terms of where we are in the calendar. But people seem excited, but also everyone seems really excited about Pokemon Day. And everyone I spoke to, when I talk about like the format and where we are, everyone's kind of waiting for the next game to like see some mechanics to shake things up, or at least the next registration. You know, at the moment we can play restricted Pokemon, but Luca specifically said he liked when it was like double restricted, so it was just like, you know, the scraps, the ones fighting for their life. I think it'll be. This feels like the last event before the dam breaks, and this feels like probably the end of this run of Scarlet and Violet as we know it. So like, it feels nice. It feels really nice to like, go out and be like, you know what, this was a great game. We enjoyed our time with it, and competitively, it's in a really good place as well.
Yeah, I think it's certainly we're coming to the end of a generation. We're probably not getting Gen 10 till next year, so you assume that if everything goes the way we assume it to be, Worlds this year will be Scarlet and Violet. Worlds next year will probably be Scarlet and Violet, and then that'll be it.
Oh, yeah, I never considered that.
Yeah.
Unless there'll be no way to switch. Oh, Legends didn't have any.
No.
Yeah. Unless something miraculously changes for ZA, which we're not currently expecting. But
Yeah, is it normally a 3-year run or a 4-year run in terms of competitive?
3 or 4, it will be interesting, and both Tim Edwards and Luca I chatted to today were like, it'll be so fun to see the return of Mega Evolution, and hopefully with Gen 10, whatever the mechanic, like, it will be interesting to see if we go from Legend ZA and then the next generation doesn't let us have Mega Evolution, because they, like, a lot of people seem to love that as a favorite mechanic. You know, even in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, we had that, and we had Z moves. So like, it has fit into the mechanics alongside other stuff before. So to bring it back now, it'd be nice to see, competitively we can have Megas.
It's a strange concept, they're bringing Megas back potentially just for 1 year, for one game that won't work competitively.
I don't know if they would tease us in that way. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Mega in the next gen.
Yeah.
Because was there anything in Arceus that didn't carry over? Obviously, they had like the alpha Pokemon and stuff like that, but slightly different.
The speed attacks.
Yeah, the fast strike.
Yeah,
which I really like that. I would like that as a change to the format, but I get that it works more with like not live action, but I mean like a more engaging game, like everything's moment to moment.
especially with like a limited roster of 400 in Arceus, when you could just keep it to that, you're not having to balance it across the entire 1015. So
It is a strange thought. This will be the last time we speak. The next time we speak, we'll know about ZA.
yeah,
Like, we'll hopefully have seen gameplay of ZA.
with any chance.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they'll have to announce it again. Be like, I know it's been a long time, but here's what the game's like. That kind of takes us on to Pokemon Day. We last spoke just hours before the Presents was announced.
Great timing.
As typical
always.
for this podcast. But we know we've not got any indication on how long it's going to be, but we do know that it's going to be on Pokemon Day. We're probably going to get tons of stuff about the apps, but Nathan, when we get down to business, what are we expecting here?
I am obviously Legends EA is going to be hopefully have its lid lifted, but I don't think that's the only thing they've got in the pipeline, especially because it's been a year since we've heard anything. So like the run up has been crazy. We've obviously had like a long time between releases, and also we know that the Pokemon Company love doing supplementary games. Like Detective Pikachu 2 came out a little while ago. We got new Pokemon Snap, and these never get in the way of the schedule of mainline or sorts of games. So I know everyone says Black and White remakes, and that might line up with cards and stuff, but I don't know. I think I'm truly at a point where I've got no idea. If we just saw like the anniversary of Gold and Silver as well, and the Pokemon Center revealed all this exclusive Gold and Silver merch, like the amazing Lugia jackets. It feels like
Lots of people kicking about with those Lugia and Ho jackets.
Lucy's wearing one.
Every time I see one, I'm like, God damn.
It feels like there's so much that could work really well with where we are.
I mean, wasn't it last year where the Presents was advertised with unknowns? And then nothing to do with gold and silver.
I remember
they just bounced past on like the transitions,
and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's gonna happen."
There's no point even guessing at this point.
Like, it would make sense to do a Black and White remake if you're considering the history of the Legends franchise. They always did. Last time they did, the BDSP, and then that. So it would make sense then to do Black and White and ZA. Like that. That tracks.
I think it would.
ZA is X and Y though.
Sorry, my brain is.
It's all right.
No, I'm on the site. I'm on the same track with you. But that was the only thing I was going to say. Like, it felt like when they did Arceus, they're like, okay, people are expecting traditional remakes as well. So they always zag when you think they're going to zag. The old Pokemon Company. So putting out a Black and White Ilka game alongside a Legends game would probably make sense. So we would get 2 games this Christmas, and then we'll get Gen 10 next year, and whatever other kind of side projects they start doing with Switch 2 stuff. I think what we won't see here, and what I think we will see at the April event for Nintendo, is confirmation that there will be a Switch 2 version or Switch 2 enhancements for ZA.
Yeah, I don't think we hear any mention of that. I imagine they are like on proper mute until we get the Switch 2 Direct. But maybe we'll get that, because when the initial thing, the initial ZA announcement came out, it was this mealy-mouthed, the Nintendo Switch family of systems. And I think maybe that's the messaging they take going forward. Because like I remember when they did it with the 3DS, and they were like, this will play on the 3DS consoles, but maybe better on new 3DS. Like, I think we're going to get a couple of games which do sit in this bracket of like, it's a Switch game, but yes, it will run better on Switch 2. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see the messaging.
They recently said specifically, this and Metroid are Switch 1 games, but the end of that sentence could also be, there are Switch 2 versions as well, but they are Switch 1 games.
Breath of the Wild's a Wii U game.
Exactly.
You know, so like...
It's shifting focus a bit, Tom, from straight up guesswork. In terms of ZA, what are you thinking from that game? Like, they talk about how it's all going to be in the city, so that changes the structure somewhat of what Arceus was, like going to the different regions and it being about research and finding the alpha Pokemon and stuff like that. Do you think this will be more kind of story driven, or will they break up the city into regions where it's like, go to, they already teased like the sewers and stuff like that, go there and catch the mega Gyarados?
I think it's still going to be location based because it is still the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Like, I think as long as it's going to be the Switch, it's going to have them regions, or it's going to have the same issues that Scarlet and Violet had, and just be a performance
issue.
We are on Pokemon side. But yeah, like, I expect it to be kind of like, the center will have the tower, and that'll be kind of like the hub, I imagine, very similar to, what was it, Jubilife Village?
Yeah.
In Legends Arceus. So I assume we'll have that kind of thing, but the whole way that trailer is built, it seems like you are being involved in the rebuild of the city, which also fits with what you kind of did with Jubilife, just on a bigger stage.
Yeah.
What I am interested in is that kind of dynamic of the Pokemon in the city rather than in the wild, because I loved in Arceus you being out in the wild with the Pokemon. Doing it in a city, it feels like you're kind of crossing the idea of Detective Pikachu with like the.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, I have always longed for the day where they treat the Pokemon in kind of the anime way, where it's like you go around the corner and there's like just Pidgeys like pecking at Trubbishes and stuff like that. Like they've got so many different Pokemon representing things now that they could get away with that. The only thing stopping you would be typically when they were in the wild areas, and Arceus, there was like quite a few of them to replicate like herds and flocks and stuff like that, where it would make a bit less sense to have like 500. There's been an outbreak. Well, I suppose an outbreak of pigeons does occasionally happen, but you know what I mean. It's a bit of a different
those kind
prospect.
of scary outbreak things where the giant orb kind of takes over.
Yeah,
that'd be cool in the city.
Yeah. People looking out the window like, oh my god, what's
just
going on
people
here?
running away from all the Pokemon's mass spawning.
Yeah.
It'd be like that Monsters Inc. scene where they put a explosion over the city.
Oh my God, yeah.
Nathan, do you think that we're going to maybe have more of a traditional format in terms of progression? Like, do you think there's gym leaders in this, or do they just go like there's big battles? Because I don't expect them to go back to like the 5 Pokemon that you have to get.
Yeah, the alpha Pokemon like we had with like Totem Pokemon and stuff like that. I think one thing I do think is interesting is obviously one of the things that people liked the most about Arceus was it being like these open landscapes and the environments, and obviously they were segmented off like an old Monster Hunter game, but like people loved that so much and interacting with those open environments. So I do find it really interesting that they took that and went, okay, in a city. So I think they must be doing it so deliberately, and they must have some idea of either progression or exploration that is going to tie into that, whether it is like sewers, catacombs, or a park or whatever. But I do feel like either we're going to have sort of interactive buildings, or there's going to be players tucked away in certain areas that add to things. Like one of my favorite bits of Legends Arceus is that like the hub town, but also the big house you can go around and you get your missions from them, and like I like that. So I think maybe they're gonna like invert that and spread that around. Progression wise as well, I don't know if they're just gonna do alpha Pokemon again, because I don't know if you can, but I don't think they will do gyms. To me, if it's anything, it will be Mega Pokemon. So yeah, and they want to showcase the new Mega Pokemon as well, so it will probably be something similar, but maybe it will be Mega Pokemon dotted around, and you have to clear them out, so then you can develop that area, and then as you beat them all, you build up like this version of that Lumio City.
There's one thing we do see in the trailer is you see both the historical version and the newer version is the implication. Like what if they take the idea of descendants more literally? So the times you do go to the wild area might be the unbuilt city. So you kind of go back in time to a descendant of yourself to then have the normal wild area style, and then you go back to the future and kind of use that as the research from your past or something like that.
Like an Ocarina of Time, like plant this seed and in the future there's a shrub.
Because that's how you kind of tie the open wild area still to it while still having the city later. Like that would just take because that was a huge part of Arceus, was the time travel was
God gives you a phone.
On your way.
Wonder what deity will give you a phone this time. Zygarde slithers up to you and goes, here you go, it's a phone. So I think it's interesting that the Z is obviously Zygarde. Did we ever come to a conclusion on what the A would refer to?
I think we talked. There's loads of theories about it being the ultimate weapon that. What's his face talks about?
Big tall man.
Yeah,
AZ?
the one with the hat that talks to
AZ?
AZ,
yeah.
That's AZ. Sorry, yeah. And obviously,
did you think he said Izzy?
No,
because that's what I thought as well.
And obviously, I think maybe the ZA is an inverse of that, and we hear so much about that ancient war. And there's that form of Floette that never got released. I obviously a million think pieces have been written about like, oh, this is what would have been in Pokemon Z, but I do think this is the opportunity that they're taking to go like, do you know what, we loved this, we do have some unfinished work, and the war is the biggest part of that, the ultimate weapon is part of that lore, and we the It is Floette, isn't it? I remember that one.
AZ's Floette is the
Yeah,
one.
I think it will maybe tie into that. I think that's a good backdrop, and I do think that's a part of the franchise, much like N, that fans have particularly hung on to because it adds a lot to the world and adds a lot of colour. Like the idea of just like an old massive war is mad in Pokemon.
Like I think it's the best games to do it as well because the Legends games seem to be more adult in like some way. Like the gameplay is much more intricate and much more boss fight enhanced. Like it feels like the kind of game if you're going to do the war, do it in these.
It's also the
in
kind
the
of game.
series.
It's also the style of game that like older fans thought that the Pokemon franchise would turn into. Like, so I could definitely see something like that. And I think that you make a good point with N. I almost thought that the next Legends game would be the Black and White remake, so they could get into something like that. Because N is something that I think they will return to, because obviously the Pokemon Company knows how much people like it. He's very well merchandised. He's got the premier card of the new era.
I just saw someone pull that at the
really?
The N and Reshiram from the Japanese journey together.
I pulled it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I was eating a bagel in the corner over there, and I just heard someone go, "Oh!" I
meant to talk about it last week because I pulled it in like some Japanese packs we bought them from Manchester.
Yeah, it looks so good. But yeah, like you're right. Like it shows the Pokemon Company know that people love that character.
Yeah. Just on that, on people buying stuff, we didn't really touch on it. But the Pokemon Center, we obviously bought these, which apparently sold out very quickly.
Can we expense these back to you for the secret part?
Don't worry, and then I'll expense them to he who must not be named. I thought the Pokemon Center, reservation issues aside, pretty smooth. Like, it is largely the exact same layout they've had the past couple of years. Less sitting cuties this year, which made me somewhat upset. But
did you guys just do the media, or did you go in normal style as well?
I'm not going in with the plebs.
I went normal style. So yeah, my experience was definitely different because I was at the front of the queue, so I managed to get in. But I think the pen system is still slightly flawed because people who are at the front will just walk to the back of the pen to make room for everyone who was behind them. And I think that's a bit of a flawed system where, like, if you're going for something like this, and like they made a really good thing, they changed it for like the customers on the second day. They changed it so this wasn't on shelves. It was at the bag pickup, which was a really smart thing to make sure that people could only buy one. But it meant that people who were at the front of the line, who went to the back of the pen, lost opportunities to get them because they stood in the wrong spot of the pen. And also, there was literally a path to walk down a queue system after the pen. And it was strange that they put us in the pen first and not straight into that line.
Yeah.
So there was still some things that were minor confusions, but nowhere near as bad as it has been in the past. It felt much better organised.
I also think with stuff like this, the equivalent to this last year didn't sell out all weekend, so I think they were maybe just surprised. Like,
the Gengar jumper.
Maybe they were just surprised at how hard it went on Thursday. I wasn't here on Thursday, but apparently they had a little bit of Van Gogh stuff. Because
I've heard
they
this.
did, They had the play mats. They had some. I think maybe the deck boxes as well.
The stuff that was still in stock at the on the website.
They didn't have any cards. I checked.
It was so funny being in there because obviously you can tell the people who had bought, they'd like scalp the tickets to make sure they got like 151 and Prismatic Evolutions. They all ran in and ignored all the exclusive merch from the event. I went straight to all the ETBs you can just buy from the Pokemon Center and stocked up on those, and we're just like
crazy
buying stacks and stacks of things you can just buy normally. It was the funniest thing. Like,
just go on Magic Madhouse. You can buy them. I promise.
I mean, walk across
not affiliated.
Not currently affiliated, but we are open to sponsorships. You can walk across the hall and buy ETBs for cheaper than they are in the Pokemon Center.
Like the exclusive merch was right there, and they were ignoring it. It's so funny watching the people who don't know about what's going on. Just assume they can scout this stuff which is there. It's really funny to watch.
I mean, if people read VGC or checked out Nook Pop, they would know ahead of time that there was going to be no Prismatic Evolutions, of course. But
great places to great places.
People don't respect. I thought that the exclusive merch was nice. It wasn't. I liked all the Psyduck stuff. I got this, and I got the playmat, and I got a few other bits and pieces. That I'm not the greatest Ogerpon fan in the world, so the Ogerpon themed stuff didn't leap off the shelves. But friend of the show, Cerebi Joe, full name. He is an Ogerpon person, so he got a hell of a lot of that stuff.
He did, I bought the backpack just because I've done so many of these now that I don't want to miss a year of backpacks.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to have to buy it. I don't like it. But it is a better built backpack this year, and the side pockets can fit water bottles in them now.
Nice.
Which feels way better. It may become my new rotating Pokemon backpack.
Because I got the I got the London one at Worlds, and it wasn't large enough from as a travelling man to get all of it. So I might have a look at yours afterwards and think about it.
We should have brought our merch with us and showed a bit of a.
Mine is half an hour away in my hotel room. But what'd you end up getting?
I ended up getting, a lot of the Ogre-Pon exclusive stuff. I got some of the pins. I am a huge Psyduck and Quagsire fan. So I got the EUIC little mug.
Nice.
Because I got the one last year that had Ceruledge and Armarouge, and that's still like heavy in my mug rotation.
Rotation.
Like when I find a good mug, I'm so happy, and that was a really good size one for my.
They are
my
really
coffee.
good. Like I held the one they had to yesterday in the Pokemon Center. I was like, this is a big mug.
I got that. I got the blue Psyduck EUIC bottle. I got the playmat. I got a giant, I think it's the Furry Friends, the line Ditto, which is amazing.
That's so cute.
Yeah, I love him. I got this jumper, and I got the Furry Pikachu deck box as well.
Nice.
Oh, I didn't see that. I would have got that if I'd seen it.
I got that, and I got a couple of Sitting Cuties because whenever I see them, like. You know when you look, there's just a wall of these Sitting Cuties, and every time I look at them, I remind myself that like certain Pokemon I really like, and I not that I forgot, but I just saw Politoed and I was like, I love Politoed so much, man, and Corsola as well.
They're
so
$9.99, so you're just another tenner fine.
It's free. Yeah,
another one that's fine.
I got the Psyduck Soda Pop as well, like the ones with the cute little lines.
The colour on those is adorable.
Yeah,
the blue.
I've only got the Soda Pop ones. I've only got Psyduck and Marill, but I love those.
Is there a Soda Pop for every Pokemon? Or is it just still only
just a certain amount?
So
that's why
there's no Heracross yet.
No, not yet.
No,
that's why I've not dove in,
them.
because I'm sticking to the Pikachu line, which I got Intern Pikachu finally, Businessman Pikachu for old school heads. But I get all of those. Well, I don't get all of those. I'm not a maniac. And I get second cuties. This is why he's a professional broadcaster. And I get the second cuties. I thought I don't know about that there. I thought that this would be the time that I get Suicune, Entei, and Raikou all together, but they only had two of the boys.
Oh, did they?
And I refuse. I'm not going to buy two. That's just disrespectful. So
yeah. Oh, they had a weird selection. They had the Ho-Oh, but I don't think they had the Lugia. I saw
I only saw
Regirock
Ho-Oh.
was there.
Regirock, I feel like they're running low on first three gens because it's been a little while that they've been out at this point. And obviously, when you're going to manufacture that stuff again, you're not going to make more of everyone. They'll always be making starters, legendaries, fan favourites, but if you want a Mankey, you're maybe not.
The last line of Sitting Cuties, the last big wave released was Kalos ones, so it was like Zygarde and loads of those. So there was quite a lot of that region there, and I think they're shifting as they move along.
Yeah, so it'll be Gen 7 next. Yeah.
Yeah. Will it be?
Kalos is Gen 6, isn't it? I'm an old man. It must
Yeah,
be.
you're right,
You know, Kalos.
So it might be Sun and Moon we get next.
Yeah, so it'll be your Jesus.
Oh my god, I can't wait to have a Tapu Koko sitting cute.
Tapu Lily, Buzzwole,
Popplio.
I'll take a Litten.
That's the thing.
I'll take a Rowlet.
There are good Alola Pokemon. Let's not disrespect. It's just that I like how retrospectively they've been like the Ultra Beasts. They're not Pokemon. They're Ultra Beasts. They're not part of the crew, as they deserve to be. But yeah, I thought the center was well operated. Sold out immediately again. Same thing will happen next year. Same thing will happen forever. As we said, the only thing that stops this is a permanent center or a much longer period that it's here. But I also think they were very smart not to put any prismatic or 151. They could have, because there's shops everywhere that has prismatic, so there is a possibility that there's not a possibility. The Pokemon Company could put prismatic out if they wanted to, but it would have just made it not what the event is about.
I was wondering if we would have the 151 Blooming Water set here and just have it without people knowing. But like, obviously, good job they didn't. But like, that would have been an interesting reveal for people who came and went, uh-oh.
That'd have been a disaster. That'd have been a stampede. Well, as we said, there could have been a way where, at EUIC, they had artist signings for TCG artists, including the incredible Yukimori, which you signed up. You went in a queue, and you rolled a dice. And if you got a 6, you got a wristband, and you could get a poster signed. I was unsuccessful.
As was I.
They could have done the same thing for Blooming Waters. The only issue is, if they did that, there would be people on the concourse being like, "I'll buy your blooming waters for 200." Like,
I think there's also the flaw with that. If they were going to do it, they should do it as an online raffle, because otherwise the queue outside the Pokemon Center would be even more hell than it could be.
yeah. Also, did you notice there were signs out in the foyer saying "Can't buy and sell cards"?
This is the first time I've
What?
been to a Pokemon event where there's not been salespeople just in the concourse at
Yeah,
EUIC.
there always was.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah, they're not here this time.
Yeah.
So there are signs up saying "Do not do that." However, today there are people just doing it anyway.
Yeah.
But they used to brand the tables as well. The tables outside used to have like Pokeballs and stuff on.
See that,
And now that's just not here this time. I think that's to stop it from happening still.
There's a trading section, but it's strictly trading. There's no cash exchange, which I understand. Like, it's not, again, it's not what the kind of event is about. I think maybe there's also a concern from the XL itself, because this is on Saturday. There's also the Muslim Food Festival, so there's a hell of a lot of people here.
Yeah,
so,
there's the Christian event as well. That's further up.
Yeah,
There's loads
a
going
Bible
on,
event.
and
there's
it's
3
not
religions.
It's not just Pokemon people going up and down like the food halls and stuff. So it does make sense to like let's not have this one event spill out and ruin it for everyone.
Yeah.
Like the food queues every now and again have been really long as well. So I imagine they're just trying to do the best to like contain it. But I would have thought, obviously, if they made that conscious decision, it shouldn't affect what they do inside. But if they were going to be like, okay, we're going to stop the vendors out in the street, I would have liked to have seen either a bigger table for the companies that are selling cards, or more of a focus, because it's the same size it was last year.
I think there's EUIC. I think if it was a Worlds, it'd be bigger.
Yeah. And also in terms of the corner where there is the card selling, there isn't actually a lot of space anymore. They're maximizing what they can do with this room now. But yeah, I think I would have liked to have seen a bigger focus on the people selling cards in here if they were going to do that.
Yeah.
Got to imagine next year's another hall. They've hit like capacity at this point, surely. They're doing more side events. There's like a little ring toss you can do, and there's like sort of stuff for kids and like meet and greets and stuff like that. But I think that section is where they could probably grow more, like get more third party vendors in.
There's a new stage.
Yeah,
Like they have that stage, the activity stage was never there before.
the
That's
Joe
where
Merrick Memorial stage. He's still with us, but he was the start of the show.
Did anyone else go and get his autograph?
No.
He was the first person I saw when I got here. I was like, Jesus Christ. I know you're a Mr. Pokemon, but when I literally get to EUIC, there he is. I'm like, oh God, I can't escape him. Although it was wonderful. We were having a conversation about 5 minutes before we recorded this podcast, and we couldn't think of the name of the shiny set. And we just went, Joe, and he had that.
I wish I had just always had him on speed dial.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that overall, really enjoyed myself at this event. One more day to go. I'm sad I'm going to miss the closing ceremony because I do have to actually go
It's
home at some
7
point.
PM?
Yeah, that's...
Oh, I thought it was a bit late, yeah.
Yeah, because obviously they've moved it so now Go and Unite finals are tomorrow, as well as everything else. So that just takes up the main stage and
because
extends
last
it.
year they were on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they've kind of made it so the ending will be later, unless that means having it at 7 PM. Maybe there is a decent reveal this time. Like I still think
There won't be.
I think Destined Rivals could be the only thing they'd show.
A hypothetical set. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Les Destinos Revelis.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. I think you could be right. That, or it'll be the splash art for Worlds in Anaheim.
Yeah, we got that last year, I think. And I'm also Pokemon Day generally doesn't cover the TCG, so I think it would either be a TCG reveal or like, here's the branding for.
I
Worlds.
think the fact the branding is so out there to partners for this, and like it would make sense for them to do it. If it's in front before Pokemon Day, that branding is where it. My words are broken. I don't think they would have that branding this early if it was going to be revealed at Pokemon Day. Doing it now would make sense to give them the time to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, whatever you reveal at Pokemon Day that isn't the game is going to get buried.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And this would never get buried.
Well, yeah, I think that it's a weird situation with this one. And as we mentioned about Journey Together, like I feel like the hype for the Rocket set, as everyone's calling it, is going to be crazy. But I'm looking forward to Journey Together, man. It's not long there. Pre-releases in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
I might be the first booster box I buy in a little while. I can't remember. The last one was not Tempura Forces. After it, Stellar Crown. I got a Stellar Crown booster beat, and it was pretty good. But I skipped on Surgeon, and obviously there was no booster boxes for Prismatic. So
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say that the N and Reshiram, the stamped one you get with the booster box, is really nice.
I pre-ordered the booster box for that. But like the last booster box I opened was a Surging Sparks booster box, so I bought one, and I was going to have it just for me to keep. And it was right before Christmas, and I realised that all my baby cousins were coming up from London, from like Liverpool and things. I'm like, damn it, I need to either buy them all gifts, or I just got the booster box out and gave everyone 6 packs each.
Nice.
So on
That's
Christmas,
cute.
we're all opening these booster packs, just sat round, and I pulled the Hydreigon illustration rare,
Yeah.
and like I opened it in my first pack, and I was like, I'm not telling them this.
Yeah.
And this is going to go, and I was like to my girlfriend, just put this in your book.
If you'd watched them open packs and they opened something amazing, would you have been gutted? Because I would have been.
Oh,
if I was in that
100%.
situation.
Because I know, like, I love those kids to bits, but that I can just see a world where one of them snatches and bends a card in half, and I'm like, like, but they loved it. It was one of the best experiences opening Pokemon cards I've had in a long time. Just seeing all these kids just get so hyped about a booster box, because kids don't see booster boxes.
Yeah.
And like, here's a sealed
Like
booster
booster
box.
box is like something you get. I still get that excitement.
Yeah,
when I get a booster box,
same.
like having the whole thing and opening it and be like, oh, it's like I'm in a shop. Like folding. You always have to fold the little cardboard bit over. If I ever get to the point where I'm just opening booster boxes and ripping the packs out, then I feel like the magic will be somewhat dead.
Secret rare's done.
Yeah, secret rare's over. I mean, if we're at the point where we're getting booster boxes, then we'll have done.
Mate,
We'll have done all right.
I'd love to do a booster box. I've never done a whole booster box.
Oh, really?
Never done one.
Oh,
Never done one.
The month after a set, check TikTok shop, and if you can part with 90 notes, you can probably, because it's like 140 week off kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah. 149, is it? That's
I
the
wouldn't
retail.
want to do one pre. I'd like to do it
Yeah.
afterwards, especially when I know
Yeah.
kind of where the cards are sitting and which
I
ones I
think
want.
if you pre-order them earlier as well, at some sites you can get them about 120 early
Yeah,
days.
Okay.
But TikTok shop's where it's at.
We'll
Not
see.
not sponsored by TikTok.
We're whatnot
We'll
boys.
see. Yeah, maybe join it
No,
together.
no,
maybe maybe a good rocket set if we get one.
Like this, whatever this set is, I'm very excited for it.
Yeah.
If it is Rocket.
Where are we time wise before we get kicked out?
32 minutes.
32 minutes. It's flown by, boys.
Oh.
The first of many, well, yearly in-person podcasts. Anything else on Pokemon Day you're feeling? You're a man that was in the trenches of all aspects of Pokemon. Is there something that you're expecting coming up?
So we're just coming into the Unova tour we can go at the end of the Dual Destinies season, and also we're kind of coming up to what we assume is going to be the next special set in TCG Pocket as well. So I think what I'm hoping for this Pokemon Day is TCG Pockets taking the space of something like Cafe Remix, which we've seen every single year up until now.
Joe will not be happy if Cafe Remix
look,
gets
I know
banned.
people love Cafe Remix. I think it's a fun game, but seeing it every Pokemon Day, I'm ready for TCG Pocket to come in and take a bit of the spotlight. And Go, I don't know if we see Go at Pokemon Day, because that is normally handled very separately. But the timing is good. It would be nice to have, if it's a big season, if it's something really interesting. You know, we're still going through Dynamax Pokemon and Gigantamax Pokemon at the moment, so maybe we're going to have like a big season of Sword and Shield, and there's quite a few Sword and Shield Pokemon which aren't even in Go yet, but have Gigantamax forms, like Center Scorch, Orbeetle. As a Go player, I'd love to see more of that. I quite like the Gigantamax fights, and I'd like to see more of the Sword and Shield Pokemon before we get even more Paldean Pokemon in Go, so we'll see.
Anything for you're looking out for?
Like, I think for me, I just would like a new I want some reveal like Netflix live action show. Like, I know it's still like so long ago and such a mysterious thing that never got spoke about, but also I kind of just want a new weird funny app.
Yeah.
I want a new Magikarp jump. I want something like that. Just a bit kooky, a bit odd, a bit fun. You know?
Yeah, there's always something we didn't expect.
Yeah. Like, here's how you clean your teeth with Pokemon. Like something like.
Yeah.
I've like fully gaslit myself into the idea of Pokken 2 at this point, so I would like to see something like that, or another, obviously they're not going to do Battle Revolution anymore because the functionality of that is kind of
Snap 3,
Pokemon Troze 2.
Let's go Heracross.
Conquest.
Let's go Heracross.
Look how people love Fire Emblem. You can't make enough Fire Emblem games for people.
Yeah.
Pokemon Conquest.
10
million, 15 million.
Ranger.
No, not for me.
Mystery Dungeon.
Mystery Dungeon we could see. We had that remake a little while ago, and that's kind of the biggest thing we've had.
I honestly thought that was going to be a pretense to a new one.
I thought they were testing the waters for it, but
the waters could have been tested, and they could have gone, nope.
Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah, I don't know the sales of that one, but I don't think it did anywhere near as good as Snap 2.
Snap 3.
I would love a Snap 3, but I'd want Snap 3 on Switch 2.
Oh,
try saying that 3 times.
Snap 3 on Switch 2. Yeah,
messed that up immediately.
I can barely speak in normal.
Yeah,
Like,
but so if we do see it, I don't think we'll see it at this Pokemon Day. I think maybe it'll be later on in the year.
I'm trying to
Because
think of the rumoured gimmick for the Switch 2 Joy-Cons.
On the mouse?
The mouse. Yeah.
Like, how would that kind of fit into a Snap game?
I tell you, I don't care about that. What I care about is Pokemon Home with a mouse. I'm
Oh.
gonna organise the living daylights out of it. My shiny living decks, all of that. That's gonna be so good. But
That's how they bring back Ranger. You go like use the mouse to circle
I love
it.
how Nintendo is the company that's got the world excited for the contents of a mouse.
I know.
It's like they've revolutionised the game.
But-
It's a mouse.
Snap, I think you got a good point. That could work. Like, I know when everyone was talking about the Wii U, they were like, put Snap on that because you'd be able
That
to
would have
point
been perfect.
around.
It would have been perfect.
It would have been, but I don't know. With the mouse, maybe you can do like a Kid Icarus Uprising sort of control scheme.
Or you can
where,
edit
like,
your photos and it has like Photoshop built in. You should
that would be fantastic. Yeah, layer.
They have a version of generative AI, but it's like based on an APOM or something like that. We're just giving you free ideas here.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is apparently there was layoffs at Bandai this year, and apparently part of that was the cancellation of a collaboration game with Nintendo, and so maybe Pokken or a Snap kind of fell by the wayside. But I suppose those games continued to sell. Like Pokken was a Wii U game, like it is. When it came to Switch, it still did incredibly well. But I think we are going to see something at Pokemon Day.
That's true.
Yeah.
Thanks, folks. We'll see you next year. I think we'll see something at Pokemon Day that's a video game that is not ZA, and it's not like a remake. I think it's a weird side game. We're due a weird side game, surely.
Yeah, I'd like to, one thing I'd like to see back is pinball or something.
Bloody pinball.
Something silly, something like really fun and small.
Yeah, agree.
But will still sell enough that, like, it covers its costs.
I'm just trying to think of things to use. The thing is, they won't announce anything Switch 2 related at this event.
No,
Like,
they won't, no.
There's no way to think about it that way. So yeah.
Is Pokemon the only brand big enough though that they can just say Switch 2, and Nintendo won't say anything because Pokemon's bigger?
No, I think we'll have to
I
wait.
don't know. I think it might be the first time we see the Nintendo Switch 2 logo on a game.
Like at the end, like on a splash screen.
And it'll be like Switch and this. But outside of that, I don't think they mention it. I don't think they publicize it. And also, I think one of the biggest things for Pokemon is always making sure that the most people possible can play a game. Like Black and White 2 came out when we had the 3DS. They'd rather more people could play it than the graphics were better.
I mean, what about this? What if they do announce a Switch 2 thing, and they don't announce another new game like an Ilka? They do ZA, but they just announce Scarlet and Violet Enhanced.
I would not be shocked if it depends how they handle it. If Switch 2 is going to be like when PS5 came out and it was patches, like a patch for Scarlet and Violet seems absolutely inevitable.
It's been 3 years. By Sony rules, that's a remaster time.
Exactly, yeah. Scarlet and Violet Part 1 remastered.
Yeah. I mean, they could easily sell Scarlet and Violet, the 2 DLCs, in a Switch 2 box, without much problem. I think they would only do that if they had quite a fallow year, but I think if they've got 2 games this year, which we kind of assume they've definitely ZA, if they've got another game, and then they have the first new Switch 2 game next year, I think that could be quite exciting.
If ZA doesn't have any enhancements for Switch 2, which potentially could
Why
true,
not? Yeah.
like an enhanced Scarlet and Violet could be the game they kind of drop with the Switch 2. Is it sort of like, here's something Pokemon?
I think maybe Nintendo, I think Scarlet and Violet would maybe be one where Nintendo's like, the day you get your Switch 2, all of these games work, and we just see Scarlet and Violet like flash past as one of the ones that's like enhanced with Switch 2.
I do hope they do or something like that as well, because I think Pokemon are aware of the fact that Scarlet and Violet lost them some goodwill. And like, I love those games. I put hundreds of hours into them.
Same.
But and I like to go back, but the performance does like temper it a bit for me. So I don't know if we're going to get a full release, but just in terms of them going, hey, look, they addressed it at the time. They were like, look, we understand the performance isn't where we want it to be. We are looking at changes, and they've optimized it over time. In terms of like the Pokemon company's impression, I'd love them to just go like, look, we know, we listened, and sorry if it is a Switch 2 you need to buy. We did our best, but here it is. And it ideally, because of the people that have already bought that game, it's a free update. I've bought those games. I've bought the DLC. I'd be appreciative if the update after this was something just free, and they go, we know, we love these games, but they could have been better.
I'd play it through again if it ran perfectly. I'd be straight on it.
Yeah, 100%. I'd love that. I love that world. I love the open environment. It's like it's such a good idea. It's just the execution that needed a bit of work.
Yeah. Well, boys, we better wrap up before a professional player bursts in here
Yeah, we're gonna get kicked out
to
any
be
moment.
interviewed. Thank you very much to Pokemon for letting us use their actual branding in their room, because otherwise we would have just done it out in the Docklands.
Yeah.
And probably had our phones stolen off of us. But in conclusion, give me I'm going to steal friend of the show, Devon's patter. What's the one thing you're looking forward to this Pokemon Day?
Is this a hypothetical dream scenario, or is this a...
Give me a dream Pokemon Day, but don't take the piss, you know?
Okay, my dream Pokemon Day is Legend ZA. It's got huge open environments, but we've got a town as a hub. It is Switch and Switch 2, and it looks better on Switch 2. Pokemon Conquest, Pinball, and if we do get Black and White, the Black and White's biggest strength was the incredible pixel art. I want to see that pixel art kept. I want to see it intact, and it doesn't have to be
like a 2D, 3D situation.
Yeah, I hate HD 2D. Obviously Square Enix have got the copyright to that, but other games have done something very similar, like the Star Ocean Second Story R, I think it's called. It does a very good version of that with the pixel art. That is beautiful. So I'd love to see that. I know that's what everyone wants, but
Yeah.
Tom?
I think I replayed Pokemon Snap recently on my Nintendo Switch, the first one. I would love DLC for new Pokemon Snap. That is those levels remade from the original, brought into it.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I think that'd be nice. And we're probably going to see ZA. There's no point in saying anything there. One thing that some people did say today, a new Eevee form, and that's been going around a lot. A lot of years that's been going around.
It's always brought up, but
Yeah.
you know, it could be.
Yeah, like probably not.
I think you'd maybe wait till a new gen.
You'd
for
say
Eevee
30th.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, I think I want ZA and I want it this year. I want a black and white remake, and I don't want it to be chibi. I want a weird side game. I'd love a Pokken too. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
oh,
and what are you thinking?
like another weird Tamagotchi style thing.
Like the Pocket Pikachu kind of
Yeah,
thing?
something like that.
Oh,
Something
like
like
an actual
A
little
new
device
bit of
again.
hardware.
Yeah, that's like-
I had the little yellow Pocket Pikachu that clipped on your belt
Yeah.
and was a pedometer.
We've
and,
not had a
like, I
device
loved
for a
that.
while, except for the Go Plus Plus.
Yeah.
I would like the Go Plus Plus Plus. That would be
Yeah.
my idea.
Go Triple Plus.
Yeah.
Mega Plus.
Go Mega Plus.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'd like that. I'd like a like when they announced that Megas were coming, when Trainer Pokemon were coming back. Maybe we see a couple of Mega cards, like no sets attached to them. Just like here's what
yeah.
Mega Charizard looks like. Here's what the new Mega forms are going to be.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Mega Trubbish. It's
Mega
just
Trubbish.
it's just an absolute, it's a landfill. But apart from that, I'm looking forward to it. I think you're right about the Pocket. We'll get a new special set.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I'm not sure. It's nice to be in a situation where they can surprise us. Obviously, ZA is the known quantity, and basically everyone's expecting trailer, gameplay, date. But the rest of the time is
Yeah, could be
completely up to
anything.
anyone.
Could be anything.
I remember
We're
sitting-
real good at predicting things. It
It
could be anything.
We're always correct if we say that. I was in Santa Monica last year for a work thing, and I remember I was up at 5 a.m. to watch the Pokemon Presents, and it was like wrapping up, and it was like minutes left, and I'm like, what the hell is that's gonna be? And then it just popped up with ZA, and I was like, what is going on, man? And maybe that one last thing will be Gen 10.
Look,
I don't know. Considering we had an entire year head start on Legend ZA, which from the Pokemon company knows what they're doing in terms of release
Yeah.
schedules, must have been intentional.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be crazy for them to just show like a second of Gen 10, something really small.
Just like a shot of the world.
Yeah.
Like, the player just stood there with the world like behind,
And it would
like a
still-
Breath of the Wild style shot.
Like a
Yeah.
they do like the motivational video at the end, and it's like, and we're always looking to the future of the, and it like
Yeah.
fades up to, and they say nothing about it. They don't acknowledge what the
Exactly.
game is.
If you've got this spot on now as a description, I'm gonna put a TikTok edit together of you saying this
Yeah.
with the actual footage underneath it, because that'd be so
I
funny.
mean, the people that would know are in this building, but
And like after that, I'm gonna keep the bit of me saying that and just cut to a video of me editing it as well.
Even if it is a year and a half ahead of release, it's still quicker than Elder Scrolls.
still
Yeah.
quicker than Elder
Yeah.
Scrolls.
Yeah.
And on that, and all that slander of other companies, because we're Pokemon boys through and through. I'd like to thank my beautiful co-host Nathan Ellingsworth,
Oh.
Tom Ryan-Smith.
Thank you.
Say goodbye, both of you.
Goodbye,
both of
guys.
you.
We'll see you next time. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Tom.